we have the wonderful Rachel Stevens with
Hello.
Keller Williams. So how's it going? What do you think of the Ion?
I love it. Such a nice area. I really like it.
Yeah, it's a good vibe, good energy. So yeah, we're going to be talking about real estate.
Yes,
How
we
hot
are.
is real estate right now?
Extremely hot. There's a lot of opportunity for buying and selling right now. The good thing about the real estate market right now is that it's catching up to the rest of the nation, whether it be California, New York, all that good stuff. So a lot of prices are going up because we are one of the fastest growing cities in the nation. So
Yeah, it most definitely is. Where is Houston today in the city population rate?
I think right now we're number 3 or 4.
Number 3 or 4.
So
Okay.
we should be where California is real estate wise, with the prices and how good and big our houses are. So, I mean, a lot of people are getting a lot of bang for their buck right now, but in turn, you're having to spend more money on homes. But it's inevitable. It's just going to keep going up.
Right. No, that's good. And that's definitely one of the things we want to talk about. What are the, things that sellers and buyers need to look at? But before we do that, so many times people are like, do I really need a real estate agent or not? I mean, what are some of the things that you bring to the table as a real estate agent?
So with for sale by owner, for instance, you don't really have all the tools that a realtor does. So you're only able to put your house on Zillow. For me being a realtor, I can help you put it on HAR, which then gives other realtors access to your listing and a lot more exposure in general. We can host open houses. I can tell my other agents and other fellow coworkers about this specific listing that I have. It just gives you a lot more exposure and the best possible price for your house. And I'll tell you what you need to fix, what you don't need to fix, because a lot of the time when you put it on the market yourself, you like it how it is and how you've lived in it for 25 years. That's not what is best for the market though.
Right now, what are we looking at if somebody puts up their house? How long is it staying on the market?
So if you list it at the right price, you're probably looking at a day, 2 days on the market.
Oh, wow. And what is the right price?
So a lot of people want this high price. They want a ton of profit. But the best way is to really look at your home, do a comparative market analysis with all the other homes around you. What assets do you have next to the other house? Do you have wood floors, carpet, granite countertops, all that good stuff, updated appliances? And, list it at a reasonable price around all the places, all the houses around you. But if you do have a pool or something like that, a little bit more, it just depends. But, don't do it so high to where it will stay on the market for 6 months and then you'll end up losing money that way.
Yeah, eventually you're going to have to lower it. Yeah, because people are like, why has it been on the market so long? There must be something wrong with it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, okay. So let's kind of dive into a little bit. Let's look at the sellers first.
Okay.
I understand you've got some 5 tips for the sellers. One thing that I wanted to ask before we kind of dive into that is pictures, no pictures. As far as if I was going to sell my house, should I have my family pictures around?
No.
That's a no.
No pictures. At most, a plant, some books, nothing that shows anything about you, pretty much.
I've got the location. I've been on the sites. I've got my house picked out. But maybe even before I start looking at houses, I should probably take a look at my budget. How important is budget in knowing what I can get and can't get?
So one of the biggest things in buying a home is budget, especially with the really hot market right now. So one of the biggest advice tips that I could give you is shop 25 grand under your budget. Look at homes that are maybe in that price range, because most offers right now are going up to or over 25 grand.
Of what the price
of what the list price
is. Yeah.
And you could possibly be in a competition with someone else trying to get the home. So really have that extra cash or that extra money with you and not have to overspend for the dream home that you want.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. And you mentioned about like financing. Do I get my financing after I find my house, or I should have all of that ready to go?
We recommend that you have everything ready to go, like know what you want to do, how much you want to spend, and again, like know exactly, like shop in a little cheaper so that you can get more bang for your buck and maybe get the home of your dreams.
Right.
Another tip maybe would be to just like give special offers to the seller, like maybe don't have a inspection, or just have buy the property as is.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe even all cash offers. Sometimes not going over, but giving those
There's
good deals
ways, without giving
could
money.
possibly get you the house, even if it's not over asking or over
Right.
list price.
And we've got more people working from home. So, in regards to are people looking for bigger houses or extra rooms, or like, what if like, I have a house and it doesn't necessarily have an office, but we've kind of turned the dining room into an office. Is that something that you can highlight, or what should you do?
So that is one of the biggest things that people are looking into right now, is an office space with closed doors, because a lot of people need that now that they're working from home. So most newer builds have offices, but if you get more into like the 2000 up to 2010, it's not always promised. So what I would say to that is, there's a lot of ways to add doors to a closed space. I mean, it might really throw off the floor plan of like the open concept, like the dream buyer wants. But if you need that, then it's a sacrifice you have to take.
Let's talk about staging, I guess. How important is staging?
Staging can make or break your home, because
Yeah.
a space you can see a space and it can look incredibly small, but once you put different items in it to make it look like it's livable, because that's why people are looking at your house, like because they want to live in it. So make it look like how they could possibly put their furniture in your home.
You want them to see themselves in it?
Yeah.
And is staging something that I would take the burden of, or can you DIY staging, or is it something you should always shop out?
So it really just depends. I know a lot of people go to their own third party and get a staging company themselves. Usually I can refer you a good staging company. And usually we have different sponsors at our brokerage. So it just depends on really your personal preference, or if you want to do it yourself, like really just alleviate all the extra items, like the extra shelves, this and that. Get rid of it and just put the basic couch, table, and TV.
Yeah, I guess open and concept is still a big thing. People
Yeah.
still want it that, high ceilings.
No clutter, no things that like cut off a space. So like maybe moving your couches around to where it's more against a wall instead of blocking a walkway.
Oh, really? Something like that even would just, again, feel a little bit
Yeah.
claustrophobic or something.
Anything.
Okay. What's another tip that we've got?
For sellers, one of the best things I would say is just making sure everything that could possibly dock you in the seller's market. For instance, we had an issue with roof. Some guy had a 35-year-old roof and he did not want to redo it. Well, in the end, people are going to look at that. They're going to have an inspection on the home and they're going to be like, well, I want you to redo the roof. And when you say no, then they're deducting that from your list price, or that might make them walk away because of how much money. So put in that money, make your house the best. Like clean your floors, do the re-roofing, do the stuff that really needs to be done so that you can get the highest and best offer for your house.
Yeah, no, that sounds good. I know roof is definitely, especially living in Houston, you want a strong roof.
Yeah.
I mean, I would think a 10 to 15-year-old roof would probably
Is
be
already,
a flag. Yeah.
They usually recommend every 10 years.
So talking about make sure as a seller, maybe I like that fridge, maybe I want to leave the fridge. Talk to me about like things like how does a buyer know that, oh, that's off limits for the seller? They're going to...
So you put it in the contract once you go into contract with someone. So looking at a house, you don't necessarily know that unless you look at the seller's contract and the seller's disclosure that they already listed. But you put it under improvements, things you want to take with you. So say this is grandma's ancient chandelier that you really don't want to leave. So you can detach it and take it with you. Well, you have to write that down since it's physically attached to the house.
Anything that's attached to the house
Anything that's attached.
unless, like you're saying in the list, that does come with the house.
Yeah. So like a carpet, you don't have to list. But like anything that is mounted to the wall, like a TV or something like that, you have to write it in the improvements.
Okay. Usually
Fridges, ovens, all
do
that good
those usually
stuff.
go or stay these
They
days?
usually stay for the most part because a lot of the times the measurements or something where they're moving into the new place is different.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it's just fridges in general. As long as
Yeah.
you don't move them, they'll last
Yeah.
forever, essentially.
so most of the time that's why that's usually what you'll find in that section, like fridges, dishwashers, stoves, stuff like that.
Yeah, you mentioned carpet. How about cleaning a carpet? Is that something that a seller should do?
You don't need it,
Okay.
but most of the time when someone does put an offer in on a house, they will request that you do a deep clean of the whole place. So why not already jump the gun and do that so that your house looks good in photos for HAR or just when people walk into your open house or whatever, they can see that you have done a good job of keeping up the home and really trying to make it look good.
I would think, I don't think a carpet cleaning is too much these days, and people don't have
it's
as many
200
carpets.
bucks, all but
Yeah.
200 bucks.
Let's talk a little bit about the buyer.
One of the biggest things is knowing, and this could go for buyers and sellers, make sure that you are aware of HOA. What rules do they make you abide by? Because some people just want to like put a pool house outside. Well, what if your HOA doesn't allow that? Make sure you know about that. Make sure you let the buyers know what they're getting themselves into. So all these big community areas like Sienna, Riverstone, all these big areas, you need to know and you need to let the sellers or the buyers know exactly what they're getting themselves into.
Yeah, that's a good point. I never thought about that. You just kind of think, I've got the home, it's mine.
Yep.
I can do whatever I want.
Like these fences or the gates to get into the garages, all that good stuff. Most of these like communities don't allow it. So,
Oh, wow.
and even if you did put a request, they don't allow it. So
Yeah.
you just have to be mindful of that when you are purchasing a home and looking into your location or even selling a home. Look into the location of where you are and what you're doing.
Yeah, definitely. I know a lot of people like to commute. Do you want to live in the city? Do you want to live in the suburbs? And
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
And that's one of the biggest things, like, and it keeps a lot of people from buying their dream home it's because of the location. A lot of people want to be 10 minutes to work, but if it doesn't fit your budget, then maybe you do need to sacrifice and make that commute to work, or maybe have it be a little closer to grandma's house so she can babysit the kids or something like that.
In regards to the seller again, or anybody that maybe is, 2 or 3 years, 4 years out, renovations, what's one renovation that like, ooh, you're going to get your money back on that? Would you do countertops, master bath?
There's three things really. The kitchen is the most common area that people sit in. It's the most common area that people use. So put your work into the kitchen, whether it be nice countertops or painted cabinets or updated appliances. Put your work into that. And the floors can come later. They can do the floors if they want to, if the buyer wants to later. The second biggest things would be like living spaces and master bedrooms and bathrooms. Because at the end of the day, the person that's buying it is going to be in the master bathroom the most. So
That is, yeah. they're
make
gonna
sure
start
they
their
enjoy
day
the
there.
space.
That is good. We talked a little bit about the open space. What are some other trends? Like, there was we moved away from carpet, then we went to kind of hardwoods and laminate. I've seen tile is kind of a thing. What's kind of a trend that you're seeing?
So I've been seeing a lot of like floating beds.
Floating beds. Can you describe? I'm not sure what that is.
So it basically gives the illusion that they're not to the ground, like you're not getting, it's like a built-in almost.
Nice. Okay.
Not super popular, but I have seen a lot of it. I've also seen a lot of more lower islands and higher cabinets, like where the cabinets are, like against the wall for kitchens. And seen a lot of marble as well. A new trend right now is getting away from the browns and the beiges and getting more into like grays, whites, dark contrast, black, dark gray, stuff like that.
Okay.
That's been recently, like I want to say 2017, it started.
Okay, when you say raising the cabinets, are you talking about the distance from the bottom of the cabinet to the countertop?
Not
or?
necessarily, just like basic height for the countertops. But then you're gonna kind of lower for the island. You want to make it like a little bit lower so that it's more like ambiance for the guests. Like I can finger pick foods at a lower level.
Okay, so it used to be the island and the countertops were the same.
Level,
now
but now
okay, now
it's been pretty popular in like newer homes as well, newer builds. A lot of people are doing that now just because it's easier to, like, if you have a big family gathering, you can put, if you have food that's catered, you can put it all and it's easy for people to just pick up.
So now I've done all of the stuff that you've suggested. Now I've got somebody coming over. What are some things that I need to look for? I need to turn on every light in the house? I need to light this thing up or what?
Yeah. So one of the biggest things is being lit. So light, every lamp, every underlight, whatever it may be. And make sure that you have enough common areas so that people can sit and actually create conversation and feel comfortable in your home.
Yeah,
So, and you know, if there's like kids that are coming over as well, have a little area for them to like play around upstairs, or whether it be in like the little game room, have something and a space for them to not disrupt parents.
Yeah, that's good, important. Yeah, pets, certainly don't have pets around.
Yeah, pets, really, you want to kind of stow them away in like a big, like in an open house, you don't want a little dog running around, you know? So usually in open houses, or like even just having guests over, you try to, like, as much as possible, keep them, I mean, take them out to go potty, but you know.
What about the bread in the oven? Make a nice smell when they come in? Is that?
Yeah, popular thing is bake cookies.
Oh, cookies. Okay.
Bake
A particular
cookies.
cookie?
No,
And
just
just
cookies.
say, hey, take one, please?
Yeah. just to make it smell nice, it gives it more of like a homey feeling instead of
Nice.
like a new house
Right.
feeling, if that makes sense.
Do you have a preference on the more white light I've seen as opposed to kind of more the yellow or warm?
Yes. So everything looks better white. It makes it brighter. It makes, because everything yellow makes it almost look like too warm tone that it like is not inviting.
Right.
What's something that's super inviting is light, bright, super white things, like super white cabinets. If you want super white cabinets and then yellow lighting under the cabinets,
Yeah,
you know?
that's going to contrast for sure.
So make sure everything is just like super bright and lit, open. It's
Open the
really inviting.
windows. Yeah, no, that sounds great. And one area that I wanted to back up on in regards to the seller is how important are those pictures that we see on the websites?
They're incredibly important. It could really also make or break the sale. So make sure, and on my end, I have to make sure I hire professional photographers and not just do it myself, because these photographers specialize. It's their job. It's their full-time job to like really give a wide angle lens of the whole space and get that full photo. Because for me, I know that the iPhone has that specific feature now, but nothing beats someone who has a full-time job as that, you know? So really make sure you get a good photographer, get a good video of the home, because at the end of the day, they're not going to come see the home unless they like the pictures online.
Yeah, that does start the whole conversation,
Yeah.
right? And I think maybe we're kind of winding it up a little bit, but the last topic that I wanted to come around to is investment. You know, we understand a lot of people are kind of getting into the investment realty. You know, it used to be kind of the, you know, Toll Brothers and all of them would kind of do it, but now, you know, everyday retail investors. What about the retail investors now that may be moving in?
It's actually a great market. It's a great way to really grow your business. A lot of people even just invest by like Airbnbs or like renting, like renovating a home and then renting it out, being a landlord. So it's really helpful, and it's a really good market to be in right now. It's a lot of room for a lot of money in your pocket.
And that's something that you could also help someone out with. If
Oh, yeah,
somebody
100%.
listening is like, oh, I would love to get into it, they can call you and
100%,
talk
yeah.
about how to do
we
that.
could get you into like even leasing a home or something like that. You get in there, you buy a home in a good area, but it's not the best home on the street. Make it the best home on the street, or make it livable for renters who want like something nice for their children to grow up in, but they can't really afford to buy a home.
Right.
So make it to where it's feasible for, you know, a young family or something like that. And that's where your target audience is right now. Like those young, like 2-year-old, 3-year-old kids, they want their kid to go to the best elementary school.
Yeah, definitely. School district is huge, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's probably the
One
biggest.
of the biggest things when young parents go
They
to buy
check
a
out
house.
the schools.
Biggest thing right now.
Wonderful. Well, that is awesome. And Houston is definitely growing, and you're going to be
Yep.
a big part of helping people
Thank you.
either be their first home buy or, move
Hopefully.
into. What's something about Houston if you were, you know, somebody from California text you and is like, hey, I'm coming to Houston. What do I need to know?
The biggest thing is the people here. The people are so helpful, loving. They care. They're like kind. They're genuine. And another thing is just like getting to know, like if you're especially from the north or from California, you're not really used to like the events that goes on here. Like it's just,
Yeah, there's a
and
lot
like
of
the
good-
diversity here is insane. Like
Yeah,
you
we've
get
got-
everything here.
Yeah,
which
we've
is
got
really awesome.
rugby, soccer,
Oh yeah.
football, baseball. I think they even just opened up the biggest cricket facility just up north. So
Yeah, it's awesome.
Anyone
and the diversity, especially like the different events that you can go to for different cultures. We have like festivals for everything, Asian food, like Korean, anything. Like they have everything here.
Food is
Huge here. Yes.
Food is a big deal. And that Texas hospitality, it's real. It's not
Oh
just something
yeah,
that's
no,
made
it's
up.
definitely real.
So yeah, so I
Yes,
think
ma'am. No,
anyone-
ma'am.
All right. So yeah, I think anybody that is coming to Houston, again, this the Houston Ion as an incubator. We know we're getting a lot of people coming to the Ion and influx. And if you're needing a place to stay, Rachel
me know.
Stevens would definitely be somebody that could direct you in the right direction and help you make the transition from wherever you are, whether it's here in Houston to a new location or it's outside of Houston. And we're going to welcome you with open arms. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for taking the time
Thank you
and
for
being
having
here on
me.
the show. So yeah,
Thank you.
So we're excited. Thanks.
Don't watch you go. And every time you leave, it's X and O's, X and O's. The vibe is so official, there ain't nothing coming close. And whenever we link, it's X and O's, X and O's, X and O's, X and O's. X and O's, X and O's, X and O's, X and O's. X and O's, X and O's.